and welcome to the College of Medical, Veterinary and Life Sciences student Q&A panel. We've got some of our panel still joining. I do apologise, we've had some technical issues this morning, and that's why we're running a little bit late. I'm just checking because I think someone else should be here. I can't find them. No. Okay, we've got two of our students, so apologies for that we're running a little late. I think we'll continue as is, and hopefully one of our other students can join us. But today we're going to just share a bit about the College of Medical, Veterinary and Life Sciences through our students. They were once in a position just like you are now. Last year applying for universities, trying to decide what to study at master's level. So they'll do their best to answer any questions. So please do use the chat box. And we've also got a couple of other questions that we'll ask as well in the meantime. So let's not waste any more time. Sophia, would you like to start off by introducing yourself? So where you're from and what you're studying?
Hi, good morning, guys. My name is Sophia, and I am currently a precision medicine master's student. And technically, I was born in Pakistan, but I have been living for a very long time in Glasgow. So I can count Glasgow as my home now.
Angelina?
Hi, good morning. My name's Angelina. I am from Minnesota in the States, and I study global mental health.
And Natalie, we found you.
Sorry.
Oh, we're having a little bit of audio issues.
Um,
That's
is
better.
it all right? Yeah. Hello, I'm Natalie and I'm studying Master in Public Health and I'm from Hong Kong.
Ah, fab. Well, thanks for joining us all. Like I said, please do use the Q&A chat box to ask any questions. But I suppose first off, why did you choose to study your masters at the University of Glasgow? And I think we'll keep that same kind of order. So, Sophia, would you like to go first?
Yeah, of course. For me, in my undergrad, I got a lot more interested in the bioinformatics side of science, and it's a really nice blend between computer science and biological sciences. However, when you like trying to develop a bit more deeper understanding of genomics and how it works and how it can be integrated with other sides of life, specifically in the medical sector. So one of the best fields that you can actually join is precision medicine because it has a best of every single area. It will cover genomics, it would cover diagnostics, it would cover the coding or you can say coding in a way as well. It will teach you those basics as well and different types of current omics specialties as well. The one of the best unis in Scotland offering, and literally not even just in Scotland, overall in UK as well, is University of Glasgow for this. And the course is designed really, really well. And structured so far, I am really, really happy with how it's running. So that was the reason for choosing this.
Ah, fab. And Angelina, what about yourself? Why did you choose to study at the University of Glasgow?
Yeah, so I studied psychology and child psychology in my undergrad, and I was really interested in essentially like mental health on a global scale because I was a volunteer teacher in the Caribbean. And when I found out about the global mental health program and I looked at the courses, I really liked the different outlines that we have. It's just such a variety and a wide scale, and I really liked that aspect. As for like the city of Glasgow, I've always loved the idea of Scotland and moving somewhere brand new and having a fresh start. But also, I've heard that was very green and lots of nature, and that's something that I really wanted to be part of.
Ah, nice. And Natalie, what about yourself? Why the University of Glasgow?
So in my undergraduate, I study medicine and actually I'm an intercalated medical student from Hong Kong. So actually I'm doing my undergraduate and postgraduate at the same time. And The reason why I choose public health is I'm really interested in public health, even though in my undergraduate study we don't have a lot of lectures or lessons on public health, but I'm really into it. And what is special about the public health course in Uni Glasgow is that we can choose our specialism. So the one that attracts me the most is health economics, because we seldom can see this specialism in other university. So I choose Uni Glasgow. And the reason why I choose Glasgow, another reason, is that it's very different from Hong Kong. So it's much slower. So I want to like explore another style of living in the city.
Oh, nice. And I suppose, have any of you ever been to Glasgow or Scotland then before you started at the university? I'll open that up for whoever wants to answer.
I'd been to Edinburgh before and I really loved Scotland. It was so beautiful and I thought the people were just so kind and friendly.
Natalie, I think you were going to speak there as well. Had you ever been to Scotland before or Glasgow?
No, never. This is my first time, but it's very good.
Oh, that's really exciting then, isn't it? And has it been everything that you thought it would be, or has anything surprised you about actual Glasgow itself?
Actually, I thought the weather is would be worse, but actually it's much better than I thought. There are more sunny days than I expected, so it's good.
Do you know, I don't think I've ever spoken to an international student and they've not mentioned the weather before, which is very funny. We do get some rain, but we do get some sun, and actually it's quite nice. Some days you get all four seasons, which is quite nice. Um, and then in terms of your MSc, you're maybe about halfway through now, which is quite scary how fast it goes. What have you enjoyed most so far? Sophia, we'll start with yourself.
Yeah, of course. So I would say regarding my master's program so far, the structure has been laid out in a really, really good manner. And the way it has made me learn so many different skills and not just being exposed to one monotonous thing. So, like going from actually learning how genomics works and then learning how advanced things needs to go in there and how advanced things are working. So, one of the really interesting part about my program is we have a module that is world seminars and stuff. So in that, we would actually get different lecturers from different parts of their lives. We actually even have different clinical scientists coming, delivering their lectures, different pharmaceuticals reps and the pharmaceutical scientists coming and explaining how they got into their life, basically from explaining how they were just a scientist from that level to going to managing different firms, managing different big projects. So explaining the whole process alongside. So if we are actually interested in entrepreneurship, then we can actually learn from that as well. So developing those skills alongside getting a full exposure to lab work in integrated within the module. So you are exposed to a lot of things, you learn a lot of skills. So that way, I would say it's really, really good. And then, as I said, it definitely is one of the best course to go for because of how many different fields are integrated. It's very niche at the same time. You don't get a lot of unis offering it either. There's only two in Scotland, and there are some in England as well. But in Scotland, both Edinburgh Uni and Glasgow Uni are very well known for this because of how the standard of work that they get students to do. There's a lot of support there as well because they expect that how right at the moment in semester two we are doing a lot to do with coding. So it starts from beginner level, which is quite nice and friendly, and they have a lot of teaching assistants as well that will help you work your way through. And obviously, you have to do some personal learning yourself. You can't move anywhere without it. So, but they are very encouraging, very approachable as well, the lectures as well as the teaching staff. And then you move forward towards a bit more intermediate to advanced level of coding and then you get exposed to a lot of different fields and a lot of different things added in. So those actually help a lot. And definitely for that reason, it's a really good masters to go for. The pace is really fast. You just have to keep up. It's just one of those things like there's no other way about it. You have to give your all and then keep moving forward. But if there are times when you can't keep up with things, uni has really good programs in place to actually help you with that as well. So that's also a really good point to mention, I would say. Like the extensions are there, and then the lectures are very approachable, and they can help you with your issues as well, whichever, whether it is like a personal thing that's actually holding you up, or it is like an academic thing that's holding you up. So that's a really, I would say, worthy thing of mentioning that it's not like you're just out there on your own. So definitely recommended uni as well as the course.
Fab. Angelina, what about yourself? What have you enjoyed most about your master's so far?
Yeah, I think what's like the most special about the global mental health course is that everyone is essentially from a different country or a different cultural background. So it's very interesting to hear from everyone's different point of views and perspectives and what's going on in their own country, given like mental health. And also similar to Sophia, we also have different lecturers every week who specialize in that topic of the week. So I've like appreciated the variety and like the change because it keeps me constantly engaged.
And I suppose if it's always different, it's more you're more than like, oh, I need to go, I need to like take part in case you miss something.
Mhm.
Natalie, what about yourself? What have you enjoyed most so far about your masters?
I'd say it's the variety of courses that we have. Because in semester one and semester two, they are very different. So in semester one, we learn the basic, like the principle of public health, and some basic research methods and epidemiology. But in semester two, we can start to choose our own courses that we like to take. So such as health economics, health promotion, advanced statistics, they are all very different and are able to suit different people' interest. And I find that very good because different people have different career, they want to develop different career, and this can suit the need of different people. And also, the lecturers are very nice. They are willing to take questions, and even I have some specific questions on my essay. I can book an appointment and discuss on my essay. So it's very helpful.
Oh, that's really good. Sophia, you mentioned something there, and it's actually something that we hear quite a lot. So, in terms of moving from undergraduate study to postgraduate study, there is quite a difference, isn't there, in terms of the class time versus what's expected of you out with classes? Because it's not 9 till 5, Monday to Friday, sitting in a lecture hall, is it? So, how have you managed that? Have you managed okay, or was it a bit of a surprise or shock at first?
Well, funny you say that about the 9 to 5 thing, because the way precision medicine is, in the first semester we would be in for 2 or 3 days a week, and it would be a lot more kind of lax lectures. You would get your lectures, we get our recommended reading and essential reading for everything, so you learn a lot of stuff on your own as well as like what the lecture material is. However, when it comes to coding for these 2 semesters, in the first one, we actually had 9 to 5 quite a few days, and we used to be in Monday to Friday for a few times as well. But those includes lectures and tutorials. So you would have like a lecture in the morning for 3 hours and then a 3 hour tutorial followed in the evening. For that actually helps you stay on top of what you actually are learning in the morning in a practicality in the evening. So that helps visualizing and then actually using everything in practicality right away. But it does make you um, go quite a bit. It's a huge jump from actually being a lot more lax in undergrad to then going into uni with postgrad. Then you have to actually add a lot more work by yourself than from other way around kind of thing. So I definitely it's a lot, but with good time management and actually knowing when to ask for help and like knowing the resources are there and everything, that does help because you know the extra reading resources are there. the uni library and stuff. So you can actually reach out to a lot of things, go and do things yourself as well. It's all about, I would say, time management. You just have to know when, because nobody knows how you're doing better than yourself. So you just have to know yourself when and where to take a break and how to manage things. So that would help a lot in long term.
Perfect. Angelina, what about yourself? How have you found that transition into your master's study?
I won't lie, it was really hard. I think that with going to school in the States, I was very used to having like weekly assignments and like exams throughout the semester, which are like all create your grade. But in the global mental health program, we essentially have like two assessments per course. So you've got like an essay that's worth 50% of your grade and another like two essays that are each worth 50% of your grade. So I felt a lot of like pressure, but don't let that scare you because it did scare me at first. But there's a lot of systems and support in place to help you. Professors are always there to help you. There's through the library like writing support systems as well, but also making sure that like I learned a lot of time management skills and making sure that I wasn't like falling behind. I bought a planner and I actually used it this year versus my undergrad. I'd buy one every year and I never used it. So this time I actually did. So definitely get a planner.
I love that you finally started to use your planner after all this time. Natalie, what about yourself? I suppose it's maybe a bit different for you because, well, or maybe it's not because you said you're undergraduate back in Hong Kong, but now you're doing a master's, so you're doing kind of both at the same time. How have you found that? Have you found the transition okay?
Yeah, because I think here I've got much more free time than in Hong Kong because in Hong Kong the schedule is really packed. I always have 9 to 5 lessons, but here I only have lessons 2 to 3 days a week, and it's like 2 to 3 hours, so it's not much. But this is the difficult part. So because there is less guidance, so you have to do it more by yourself. Like you have to read more, you have you have to catch up with the materials by yourself more. And because like what Angelina has mentioned, the assignments is like only 2 essays for a course. So all of the grades depend on the 2 essays, and they usually have like similar deadline at the end of the course. So the time management skill is really important that you start your assignments earlier instead of cramping everything at the end of the course. Yeah.
Great. I suppose.
Um, Sorry, I would also like to mention, see for precision medicine at the moment, the type of assessments we do change every module as well. So that actually gives you exposure to a lot more different skills as well. Because I had a debate assessment, I had a poster presentation assessment, a lab report, essays. So everything is different, and that gives you more skills and how, because especially for the scientific field you get to do all these things in real time anyway. So for that, it actually prepares you for the real world while actually doing the degree rather than you learn these degrees on the job, like you learn these skills, sorry, on the job. So it's actually preparing you for the after your career life as well. So it's quite great exposure that way. We don't do exams either anymore. So all our assessments are different and they're based in different skill base as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing to mention actually, and I'll post a link in the chat. We've recently completed our Ask Your Academic webinar series, and that's been for most of the programs have been covered in our college, and that's the academics asking different questions and giving some information about the program. A lot of the information is on the website, but they go into a bit more detail. And that's something that's really surprised me is that the range of assessments that we offer, because a lot of the MSCs are now moving away from exams. And it's like you say, presentations, lab reports, things that actually in your career you would probably expect to do. So yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? And I suppose if you're good at different things, you can get to experience other things and work on those skills that you're maybe not so good at, which is always good. Um, is there anything that surprised you about your masters that you wish you had known before you started? Has anything surprised you, or is it just what you expected?
not, I would say, really surprised per se. However, one thing I was really, really impressed with how nicely everything was structured together. So it's not burdening, it's not throwing everything at you. It's very well structured and thought out. So sometimes everything can get too muddled up. So at the moment, we are doing one module at a time. So one module starts, it finishes, and then the next thing starts. So it always gives you time to fully develop that, go and envelop yourself in that one thing, and then you move on to the next thing. The only thing that continuously goes between the two semesters is the World Changer seminar, but they also have this really good thing where they would do seminars about different things, different topics and stuff each week. So every time you go, you have a completely different topic, and we the assessment for that module is actually writing review first on how the semester, how the lecturer or how the seminar went. You can pick whichever you want, and then after followed by another mini review that you get to write to actually understand how scientific writing for journals and stuff can work as well. So it's quite a good way. That's something that I didn't expect can happen, that can be taught in this way. And I'm quite thankful because that helps you with the scientific learning and scientific journaling that is actually very useful for clinical sciences and different sides of different clinical people as well.
Nice. And Angelina and Natalie, what about yourselves? Has anything surprised you about your masters?
I think it's the discussion during lectures, because I did expect discussion during seminars, like a smaller group, but I didn't expect a discussion with like 100 people at the lecture hall. So it's surprised me a lot. Like people are very active in raising questions and even like discussing with the lecturer. So that is the point that surprised me the most. Yep.
That's a really nice surprise, though. That's actually quite surprising to me as well, because you can just imagine 100 people all try to get their point in, but that's really nice. Angelina, what about yourself?
I was gonna say that in my undergrad, I was sort of used to having like a class and having like one professor that I see every week. But for all of my courses, like classes here, I have like a guest lecturer every week on a different topic, and it's also like it's always someone that's like specialized in that topic. So that's been kind of fun though because I like the change.
It's also a good way to network as well, isn't it? And then almost if you're not sure what you want to do as a job afterwards, you're getting ideas of, oh, I could do this, oh, I could do that. Which, yeah, that's always fun. Um, I'll keep a little eye. We've got some questions coming through. If there's anything specific to your application, I'll pop an email address in, and if you follow up direct, it's just easier to answer. And we've also actually got other sessions running throughout today, and I believe there's an admissions session at some point. I'll share the schedule as well for you to follow up, because that might be a good session to attend for the question that's just come in there. Um, Sophia, you had mentioned as well earlier about the different support services we've got. We've got lots, don't we? I just wonder if anybody's used anything like that, because I know we've got like the academic writing skills. There's lots of different things. So have any of you reached out and used any of those services?
Actually, I would definitely recommend. So when we were doing the induction, we were told in the induction there's a student learning program that actually is in place to help expose you and help you with different learning skills as well. So that includes actually helping you with your scientific academic learning, helps with sometimes obviously people when they are transitioning from different things. I'm not sure about international students, but I believe sometimes people can experience like burnout and stuff as well. So there are places where you can contact the well-being department as well, so they can help you with that. You can actually contact the extension department, so they can actually help you how to navigate your time with that as well. And because everyone is very approachable with time, they actually give you really good answers as well. And then with the student learning program, they have classes for different things. For example, if you've not have much exposure to statistics, so there's a class running for intro to statistics every week. you can just drop in, have questions about your own course, or they will answer that. And as I said, I'm doing coding for my program. So while doing that, I very surprisingly checked that schedule, and they were actually running a coding introduction to R class as well. So that actually helped me get in and see, oh, okay, I'm having like an error here, an error there, but I'm not understanding why. Because sometimes you don't like feel comfortable just going to your like annoying your professor every 2 minutes. So it actually helps quite a bit, because then you know there's other resources that actually going to give you the same standard of help without any I would say it's without any hesitation. You can just go up and ask like, okay, this is happening. And if you don't know who to ask as well, you can just email your admin, or even in your course handbook in the beginning, it will mention which the student lead are, or who is managing the admin side of your course as well, and your advisor for the course as well. So all these people are mentioned there, and all these people are so nice and so approachable. They will timely respond to you, and you can actually get things going quite fast, and that helps you moving with everything quite nice and timely way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, the program administration team are brilliant. Like, they're so good. If you do ever get stuck or you're not sure who to contact, I would advise reaching out to them because they are really good. I always ask them questions. Angelina, Natalie, what about yourselves? Have you used any of the other sort of resources available?
I have been to the writing support uh to check like an outline of my essay to make sure that it flowed right or I was going in the right path. That was really helpful. And like Sophia mentioned, for my dissertation, I have to do some coding that I'm not really familiar with, so I will be doing the intro to R. I haven't started that yet, but I will be soon.
Nice. And Natalie, what about yourself?
So I have made an appointment, one-to-one appointment to academic advisor. I'm not sure is that called, to discuss about my questions on referencing and plagiarism, because I didn't really have an experience of writing an essay before. So that's a huge question mark for me. So I wonder the definition of like plagiarism and AI use. So I want to clear up my confusion. So I made an one-to-one appointment to discuss about the issue.
Great. And that's amazing. Like, you've all used them, but in very different ways, which is really good. And that's what they're there for.
I would like to mention as well, like there's also places that you can contact regarding your CVs and stuff as well, so they can actually help you build your CV in a nicer way, and especially like how the CV is perceived in UK. So from that point of view, if you want to apply for jobs here, and then you also get weekly emails regarding what internships or jobs and stuffs are available in Glasgow Uni, or affiliated with Glasgow Uni. So specifically to your I would say to your department, you can look through and find something that's interesting to you and go for it if you have.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I know that our career service offer help with practice interviews and things like that as well. So even if it's a PhD you're thinking of doing or you're looking to get into a job, it's definitely really good services to use. And that links nicely to one of our questions that's come through asking about, besides juggling the masters, do you think you would have time to work part time? So I know that for international students, you're maybe capped at how many hours you can work each week. So have any of you got a part-time job alongside your studies?
I
Yeah,
have,
you do.
yeah, I work part-time, and to be fair, my part-time work hours are quite flexible as well. So I usually do work around my master schedule, because end of day, you just need to make sure your priority remains your studying, because we have social life, you have personal life as well. So you want to make sure you're giving time to everything, but making some time for yourself, like because if you are too focused on just one thing, that can lead to burnout. So just try to manage your time in the best way possible. But it is very plausible to actually work a part-time job as well as do a master's, because they both can go hand in hand and you can learn different skills at the same time. It's just all about managing time and managing how much you can actually take, because nobody would else will know how much you can go for, like where's your limit. other than yourself. So just be wary of how much you can do and then just go with that. So uni actually does give you a lot of options with that as well. Either go through that one or you can just find a job locally, and it depends on how many hours you can do and stuff. So it helps a lot that way as well.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And Angelina, Natalie, what about yourselves? Have you got part-time jobs, or is that something, if you don't have, do you think you would have time to do?
That is something that I'm currently looking for. I will say that at least in my program, the first semester was a lot more like we had a lot more lectures and a lot more like class time. It was like 3 times a week, 9 to 5, versus the second semester we had class just once a week. So you definitely have a lot more free time to do whatever and have another job. So that's sort of why I kind of wanted to take the first semester to figure out how things were going in my program and like getting adjusted to moving here, getting adjusted to just the whole postgrad experience. So I'm glad that in the second semester I have like less class time where I can now like, okay, I live here now, I can get a job, I feel more comfortable. And now I have a planner so I can sort out my schedule. But yes, I think that if you have good time management skills, you can definitely have a part-time job.
I think that's a really nice way you've done it, actually. Let yourself sort of adjust to your studying in the first semester and then see what your sort of time allows you to do. Because some people might find it more difficult to catch up on all the reading and things, but you've not put any pressure on yourself, which is a really nice way of doing it. Natalie, what about yourself? Have you got a job, or is that something you think you would have the time to do?
I don't really have a part-time job, but I have a weekly volunteering job in Shelter Party, which is near to Uni Glasgow. So I think it's kind of similar to a part-time job is, but the frequency is much lower. And I saw in the chat box asking about does the MPH allow any free time to undertake any other big life commitments? I think so. I think if you choose your class well, like you try to make your schedule concentrated in 1 to 2 days, I think you can have a lot of free time to have your own plans and stuff. And also, there is another question about he'd like to know how much time I have outside of my MSc for pursuing my own interest. I think starting volunteering job is a new commitment that I have because I don't really have the time to do so back in Hong Kong. So that's why in Glasgow, I think MPH provided me with more free time to do so. Yep.
Fab, you've answered about 4 questions in one there. That's super. And the questions coming through about are you allowed to work part-time, it's all dependent on your visa and what your visa allows. I think it's typically 20 hours a week. Yeah, so just check that, make sure that you're not doing too much. And actually 20 hours for some might just be too much. I know that there's a lot of sort of casual opportunities offered within the university itself. You can do like the campus tours and get involved in different like uni buddy, things like that. There's lots of different options rather than a commitment of X amount of hours per week. Sophia, were you going to add something there?
Yeah, I also seen a question regarding application for precision medicine program, and it says like there was no specific mention of a statement of purpose. It doesn't actually clarify that you need a separate statement of purpose there. When you're applying, there's actually a part of your application where you actually provide a personal statement, what you are doing or what you are looking forward to get from the degree, basically showing why you're interested in the degree or in this particular program in the first place. That integrates your personal interest as well as follow-up interest and also your basic knowledge of where you are with things at the moment as well. So I already had some experience with the and some exposure toward bioinformatics, but in my cohort, there's actually a lot of people who had very little to no knowledge about bioinformatics or different things, but they were interested in genomics overall. So they went for it. And the way, as I said, I would really emphasize the way the structure of the course is. You get taught the basics first, then the advanced. So you actually don't need to have like massively information about everything because it's a very niche subject anyway. So you get exposed to, it's like kind of the structure is basically like a funnel system. You get taught what the overall is, and then it narrows down to your specifics. So it's really good to actually go for it, and then they will tell you how things are moving. You get exposed to what genomics is, and then how you can apply in different medical fields as well as outside medical fields.
Yeah, and I think that applies to a lot of our programs actually. If it's got an option for a personal statement, a lot of the time it is optional. That if maybe your degree is not obvious that goes for the program, I'd definitely use that personal statement to, like Sophia said, why are you interested? Like, what's driven you to apply for this program? And if you are in doubt, do get in touch with the program administration team. Like I said, the email address is on the web pages, on the program pages. And yeah, a lot of them they will have sort of specifics of what they're looking for. I'm just checking. There's a few questions coming through. The one about PhD progression. A lot of our masters programs are set up to allow you to sort of take on a PhD. It's obviously a separate application, but I know that a lot of our master's students do. A lot of them go on to further postgraduate study. And in terms of freezing your semester, that's very much something that I would check with. I think that's something that would be organised while you're in your studies, and it's not something I think that we tend to offer as an option. That would be if there's a reason to do that. There's a question came through actually about funding and scholarships. So did any of you apply for any sort of funding or scholarships? And if so, would you like to tell us about that and how you found the process?
I am a home student, so I will talk about from home student perspective. So as a home student, there's um, department and set up by the government here. So it's called SAS, and you go through them, and there's a certain amount of your fee that gets paid by SAS, and there's a certain amount of fee that you pay yourself, or you can get it funded externally, or scholarships, or financial aid. All of these things are in place, and you can get links for these on either the program where the program's link is. You can get different structural information on which aids are available to yourself. They are very specific to different things as well as broad one as well. And even during your induction day, they will tell you where different financial aids are available. So you can go through that as well. Um, I would say you can check those and they can help you with different navigate that as well very easily. For as a home student, it was quite straightforward to me because all these websites are very easy to follow. There's no going about things. You can just add your information and get a confirmation in 2 to 3 weeks, and you're good to go.
Perfect. And I do know that the scholarships, a lot of them, the ones that are even the ones managed in the university, I'll say, just keep an eye on the closing dates because they do close earlier than we close for applications. So the earlier you can get your application submitted, the better, which normally you need your offer to apply for them as well. So do apply as early as you can. And we do have information on our website about scholarships and funding options. But there's also, depending on your home country, there's a lot of options available there too. And I believe there is also a scholarship session running today as well. So if you've missed that or if you can't attend that, I'm sure the recording will be posted on our main university YouTube channel. Someone in the comments, and I believe this is very common, has asked if cats are allowed in accommodation. And I was very surprised to hear recently that a lot of students are actually bringing their animals with them. So I think it likely depends on what accommodation you're in. So if it's university accommodation, I definitely check if that's a thing. It might be more common in private accommodation, but I have heard of people bringing students bringing their dogs and things over with them, which I love. Have any of you brought any animals with you, or do you know of anyone that's brought their animals?
Yeah, I've got a fellow student in my class. She came from Turkey and she had her cat basically delivered over through the whole system, followed in like 3 to 3 weeks or so later. So it just depends on accommodation where you're living. I would say most places would let you, but you just have to be very upfront and ask like if it's allowed or not. So most places will have it advertised, no pets allowed or pets are okay. But then some places are very specific about what kind of pets as well. So you just have to be very careful about that. But I think like you can bring them, but it just depends on where you live. So where you are applying to live kind of thing.
Yeah, pets deserve a holiday too. There's a few questions actually coming through about specific programs that we're not representing here today, but I've posted the link further up. We have actually completed our Ask Your Academic webinar series recently, and we held a biotechnology one, and then about careers after specific jobs. That's also covered in them all, so do check that out. I've posted the link up there. Um, let's see. And there's loads and loads of clubs and societies in the university. And have any of you managed to join them, or is there anything you're considering joining? Because we've got all sorts. Sophia, what about you?
I actually am affiliated for with few of the societies. I'm quite interested with you can obviously join different types of societies. You can go with like the athletic ones, like different sports ones are there. You can go with the innovative ones. You can go regarding your like ethnicity. There's loads of stuff going on all the time. The one that I really liked was the genomics one that I recently actually they arranged a really good symposium for Rare Disease Day. And it was like about 4 hour symposium that had panels of encompassing different clinical, I would say different clinical panelists from different countries and talking about different rare disease and stuff. So it was really useful. You have like as a Muslim, there's a Muslim society as well that has different lectures going on, different things going on, activities all the time. And for it, more or less, there's hundreds, especially when you go for like open day or an induction week, you get exposed to a lot of things. So that's up to you to join and make use of whenever you can because if you're a master student, you'll be on the campus most of the time. So you can actually go to loads of things, and those activities actually help you take a break from your normal, very stressful or very dedicated academic time. So those things that are in place and they're definitely there to make good use of to take a good break from your normal things to actually have like a nice fun little activity on the side.
Yeah, and it's a good way to meet new friends as well. Angelina, I'm really curious. Have you joined any societies or are you considering it? You look very excited.
Yes, I have. My family's from the Caribbean, so I'm in the African and Caribbean Students Association, which has been really fun. I'm also in the Dead Poets Society. I love that movie, and we just like read books and have talks, and that's really nice. And then I'm also in the Cocktail Society. I love a drink sometimes, and that's been like kind of fun. But yeah, it's a great way to like meet new people, but I will say that at least in my course, our cohort is very small. There's about like 30 of us. And because we have like class every day together, you get really close with those people in your course. So we kind of do everything together, whether it's like going to societies together, going out together. Glasgow nightlife is really fun. And there's so much to see, like nature-wise, just like going around. We like take trips on the weekends to the Highlands and going like exploring. So there's so much to do. There's like another mountaineering society. That one's really cool. I'm not brave enough yet though, but maybe I'll like work up the courage to go on a trip. I'm working my way up. But yeah, there's so many different things to do.
Wow, you're really exploring the clubs and societies. That is great. Natalie, what about yourself? Have you joined any, or is there any you would consider joining?
So I've joined the Global Health Society. They usually organized trip to Geneva in June. Yeah, and that's really fun. Uh, but this year the date of the trip clashed with our MPH conference, so we didn't have the chance to do so. But next year, they promised that the date will be different from the MPH conference, so coming students can have the chance to join the trip, it's really good that you got to explore more and to listen to talk in Geneva.
Oh, that sounds like a fun one. Get a nice little trip out of it. I'm just checking. There's a few questions coming through about accommodation, and without asking where you're all living and giving away away your location, not very good for security. Have you chosen to use the university accommodation or private accommodation? Because I know that some master students, because it's a year, a lot of them do take up university accommodation. Um, Angelina, what about you? Like, have you chosen the private route or the university route?
I actually missed the deadline for the uni accommodation, so I had to go private. So make sure you guys watch those deadlines. Otherwise, you'll have to pay an arm and a leg.
And Natalie, what about yourself?
Yeah, I also chose a private one because I think it's quite difficult for intercalated medical student to get a place in uni accommodation. So I chose the private one.
Perfect. And Sophia, are you living at home? Are you able to
Yeah.
travel? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I was like,
the dream.
I can't, I was like, I can't say much. I live at home with my parents, so there's
Perfect.
nothing I can say.
But Angelina made a great point there. I think a lot of the things with applying for your masters into any university is the earlier you can apply for everything, the better, because you just increase your chances of getting there. Because once that date's gone, if there's none left, you've missed it. So do get in same for your scholarships. Apply nice and early. You will get a lot of communications from the university, but we're not just sending them for fun. They do all contain a lot of useful information. So just try and keep on top of all that and check all the dates as well. Um, I think something that we're always asked about in this program classes is about preparation for starting your masters. So, did anyone do anything to prepare before you joined in September that you would recommend doing? I always say to people, get here nice and early because if you can get your bearings, get set up in your accommodation, get all your like personal admin done, it's one less thing to think about when you then start your classes that you're not having to think, oh, where's the dentist? How do I register? So, is there any other advice that you have that you would pass on to others? Angelina, we're saying buy the planner, use the planner. Any other advice?
I would say that when people are joining, especially from other countries as well, it's really nice to attend all the induction activities because they give you a lot of useful information that would be useful for you, not just for the semester coming, but the whole year. So they also expose you to all these different websites or as well as different departments that you can go for help and everything. So definitely make use of full use of induction because I know like a lot of time people will just say, well, it's just an induction, I'll just skip over and go to my class instead. So I highly recommend going to every induction thing because that also exposes you to a lot because the inductions are usually done based on skills, like different so MVLS would have a big massive induction altogether mostly, and then you kind of go separate ways in your own specialized department. So when you're having a big cohort as well, a big induction, then you can actually get to meet different people from that point onwards. So it actually helps you build up the contacts from day one rather than being exposed to just your little own cohort later on. Your own cohort is obviously the best thing that you get to interact with people. But then again, all the masters cohorts are usually very small, especially on the more niche the subject, the less people are there. It's just like it's very focused, so a lot of people are not in the class. You would have maybe like 25, 30 to 35 people in a class. So it gives you more exposure to different things and all that is also that and definitely quoting Angelina, get a planner. You really need one. Use a digital one or a hard one, whichever works. So just use one definitely to actually help you manage different things and keep on top of everything.
So I think going to induction is a really good point, especially for international students who are new to this city. And for me, because when I joined this info session, I found the Scottish accent quite difficult. to be understood. So I try to like look up, like watch some videos
That's
about the Scottish accent to make myself more familiar with it. And actually, a lot of lecturers are from Scotland as well,
yeah.
so they do have Scottish accent, but it's not very strong. And I get to like I'm used to that now, and quickly, like 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good advice. And it's funny because if anyone starting out struggles to understand the Scottish accent, raise your hand and just ask the person to slow down because you'll find that when someone gets excited, they speak faster and then it's even more difficult to understand what they're saying. So we will not be offended. Ask us to slow down. Angelina, what about yourself?
I came a few weeks earlier and I definitely got the time to move in and figure out where to buy things. That was really hard because there was no like Target. So TK Maxx has everything you need, mainly from what I found. Um, and I did a lot of exploring before, which was really nice, like learning how to use the subway. And what else did I do? Oh yeah, I kind of like pretended to go to class and like walked around and found all my buildings so that like that way when it was actually time to go to class, I wouldn't be late and I knew where it was, so that was really nice.
That's really good advice, actually. Just like a little orienteering session around the university. I still get lost when I'm in a meeting room that I'm not used to going to. So we do have the university app as well, which is really good. There's a map feature on there, so highly recommend that. We've got a few questions coming through that are very specific about different sorts of funding, and then maybe more on the programme themselves that we're not covering here. Like I said, the Ask Your Academic webinar series, I've shared the link in the chat, and it's on our YouTube channel, so do check them out. And if there's any follow-up questions from them, do get in touch with the programme teams and they will be in touch to respond to help you. I think our last question, because I've just noticed the time, I've had a lovely old time chatting to y'all. Um, what are your plans for after your masters? Do you know, or has it maybe changed since you started? Because I know that a lot of people start thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go and get a job," and then it's like, "Oh, I want to like do a PhD." It can change. So, Sophia, we'll start with yourself. What are your plans for after you graduate?
To be fair, my plans have not massively changed since I started. And to be fair, with my master's and the way I said, we get exposed to different external lectures that are either NHS based and as well as the private industry based. So we get exposed to a lot of different things, and because of that, I am very firm on what I started with my mind in. And I'm still wanting to go in the same in the same profession, in the same field, with using the same path. And this master has actually equipped me to be more proactively going forward towards it. So I want to be more into the genomic side, actually learn more and go towards the clinical genomics way. So we actually had a guest lecturer who was a clinical scientist who went through the scientific training program as well. So she was able to answer some of my questions as well about how the process was and how did she find it, and how I can integrate more of my master's in that application and everything. So it really helps to actually have a clear picture. And if you don't have a clear picture, you get exposed to so many different options that you then can build your own clear picture towards the end anyway.
That's really good. Angelina, what about yourself? What's the plan?
Mine definitely changed. I kind of thought that after graduating, I would like get a big girl job and I wanted to be in international education and work for NGOs around the world. But after starting my dissertation, before this, I was like, I kind of hated research, but now I'm like, wait, okay, I kind of like this. It's something that I like. It's a topic that I like. I don't really know a lot about coding, but I'm like learning and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like this. So now I'm kind of thinking more about a PhD, but before any of this, I kind of want to take a break and travel a little bit before I go back into anything again.
Oh, that's really good. And Natalie, what about yourself? What's the plan for after you graduate?
So I'll probably go back to Hong Kong and continue my study of medicine. And actually study MPH makes me think of my future specialism because I start to consider seriously of taking public health as my specialism in the future. Yeah, so I think yeah, having doing a master here is a good way to figure out your future career prospect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh, well, I wish you all the best of luck for your future endeavours, and I can't wait to hear what you'll do. That is us just at the end of our session, so thanks so much to our panel for taking time out of your day. I know that there's clubs and societies you could be doing, there's studying you can be doing, but you chose to be here with us, so thank you. And I hope everybody watching has found that really helpful. Sorry we've not managed to cover off all the questions, there has been a lot coming through, but like I said, we've got other sessions running throughout today, so please do check those out. I've posted the event schedule in the chat. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you all come September time. Thank you. Bye bye.